You're kicking off your weekend right. It's Friday, and you're listening to Radio Random Network. Find us on the web at radiorandomnetwork.com. Here are the hosts, broadcasting 50,000 feet below the Earth's crust, hashtag RDM, Russell Devin McLean, and the world's smartest redneck, Mudtooth.
It's another week. It's Radio Random Network. I'm hashtag RDM, Russell Devin McLean.
I'm the hash brown, scattered, smothered, and covered.
And that's Mudtooth. Sitting here having a laugh. Real quick, did you watch the VMAs, Video Music Awards?
Absolutely not.
We got another, in 2020, you can look forward to Kanye West running for president.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait, man. I thought he was leaving. He kept saying he was leaving.
That's before Taylor Swift made up with him.
Oh, that's what he was?
Yeah,
oh,
and that's another thing I don't understand. And
sweetie now.
I'm not trying to get all political or anything, but this ain't a black thing. This is a dumbass thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
I'm not racist at all.
Well, here's the deal with me. I don't like bad music. And I don't like... It kind of upsets me that I know people, that I personally know people, okay, who have forgotten more about music than those clowns will ever know.
Right.
And yeah, they are reaping untold billions of dollars while, the people that I know are not. And I think that's utter ridiculousness. And yeah, that's that.
Now here's something I don't understand about the whole thing. Like I said, I mentioned Taylor Swift. Why does the country music community still try to embrace
They hanging on. They
she
hanging
has
on.
Totally
She ain't coming.
To her back.
She ain't coming back. Y'all listen. She ain't coming back. She ain't. Because they got more money. She's like that cow stuck her head through the fence. And she's gnawing that grass on the other side. Except this time it's greener grass. And she ain't coming back. Now, that's just how it is. Not unless maybe she gets, real strung out, and has some episodes or something where she's sitting at the end of her driveway talking to a dog.
She goes out Britney Spears.
Right. If she does all that, she might come back, but I don't think so. I don't think she's coming back.
I did not personally watch. I had to watch the reviews the next day because I was getting ready to watch Hulk Hogan on Good Morning America.
Oh, yeah.
Which, in the pro wrestling world, we'll touch on all that in a minute. Mm-hmm. That is at the bottom of the list of pro wrestling news.
Oh, yeah.
But with that said, also Miley Cyrus and, what's the chick's name? Anaconda. She sings Anaconda or whatever. They had some kind of altercation.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, that was fake. That was totally fake. You could tell.
I want to see them fight.
You could melt them and pour them on each other, bro.
I will say this, and I don't know, Miley Cyrus is like a cartoon. It's like she's not even real to me at this point. She's like if you ever seen some old 70s, they used to make comic books and stuff,
right?
For dope heads. I'm serious. It was all geared towards dope heads, and they had these weird pictures in them, and that's what she's like. She's like something out of she's Fritz the Cat or something.
Like a bad acid trip.
Yeah, what the. And then, and then there's Billy Ray.
Oh.
Who, had one hit, which shouldn't have been. And I take that back. He did do the song.
Some Gave All.
Some Gave All, which a lot of people embraced, and that was fine. But he's still a damn retard. And especially now.
That's politically
Especially
incorrect.
now, shit, he's got a woman's haircut. And he gets up there and just says, yeah, baby, just keep doing what you're doing, or some kind of stupid foolishness like that. And, if that's her daddy, man. He ought to kick her ass.
Well, she said it best, they're all in this business and they know how to manipulate the press. And I think she's the number one manipulator because all eyes are always on her.
Guess what, though? One day they ain't going to be.
Right. Well, I talked about Hulk Hogan a while ago in a little wrestling news there. He he had went on Good Morning America. Did you hear about this?
Mm-mm.
The Hulkster, it breaks his silence. You know, he's been pretty much erased from WWE history.
I know.
Right? He broke his silence on Good Morning America and said he was born that way. Pretty much.
What way?
He's born, with a racist seed in him. He couldn't help but say that, even though he was in a state of suicide and at the lowest point of his life, whenever he said that while he was making a sex tape that he was unaware he was making.
All right. Okay.
But, I'm just telling you what the man said.
Okay. So, now, a lot of people say, that homosexual people are born that way. Matter of fact, I think Lady Gaga said it. But other people besides her. Now, so he's going to use that argument?
That's what he said.
So
the Hulkster cried.
So he was born and I don't know what he said. So was he picking on black people? Was he picking on Hispanics? Was it Chinese? What? What
it was his daughter at the time was allegedly dating this black guy.
Okay, so that's where it went.
And Hulk Hogan pretty much said if she was going to date the N-word,
mm-hmm.
that she should date an N-word with money, like a basketball player or a football player. He was born that way. He also said, that's how he was raised, where, he was in a poor neighborhood, Section 8. And
I can see it's how I was raised argument. I got no problem with that. Many people were raised that way. I get that. I understand that. But when you say I was born that way, I got to call, Mudtooth calls 15-yard bullshit. This is not regular. This is not incidental bullshit. This is flagrant. This is personal foul, 15 yards. Okay? 15 yards BS. All right? That is totally ridiculous.
Well, he basically what Hulk did, he got on there and he cried. He turned the water.
What's
basically what
why
he
is
said.
He doing that?
He should have just went on there and said, "I'm sorry." Yeah, please give me my job back.
Just say that. Say, look, you know what? I said some stuff I shouldn't have said. I apologize. I'll never do it again. But don't get up there and make something up. Why didn't he just say, you know what? I was talking to my daughter, and she couldn't see it, but I could see it. It was an alien. It came down through the ceiling, and it stuck this tube in my ear, and it took control of my speech, and it made me say that.
Right.
That right there is just as believable as I was born that way.
Pretty much.
Okay?
Pretty much.
There's no difference.
But in wrestling news, though, that we're not even touching. That was knocked out by the shooting at the WWE Performance Center by this stalker guy.
Oh, no.
Who showed up in Tampa, Florida, looking for one of the divas, and they had a couple of police deputies there. You got to go. He pulls a knife, but they shot his ass.
Well, that's how it goes.
But that's not it. Have you heard about the Superfly, Jimmy Snuka?
I see something about he about to be charged for murder or something?
He has been charged for third-degree murder from 1983.
Say it ain't so, Jimmy. Say it ain't so.
I'm sure he sat there and said, lovely, brother.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty... Bruh, WrestleMania 1, the whole main event has gone to the shitter.
I'm telling you.
We lost Roddy Piper. Hulk's a racist.
Yeah.
There goes Superfly. He's a murderer now.
He's a damn killer.
So all we got left is Mr. T, Paul Orndorff, and Bob Orton Jr.
All right, well, Mr. T is selling New Wave ovens on TV or something. I don't know. I seen him on an infomercial here, I don't know, several months ago.
I pity the fool.
Yeah, and that's what,
grease.
He looked terrible. He looked terrible. And he was on there with
he loves his mama, though.
He was on there with like a soccer mom. It's like a soccer mom, like a middle-aged, white lady who was advertising. Like, she was the one who knew how the
thing worked.
The thing worked, and he was just there, And she said, well, like, Mr. T, what do you like to cook? Like, I like steak and
chitlins.
Yeah, and they put some steak in there. a frozen one, you know, and they turn the knob on the top and it would do something, you know, and then they'd cook the steak, and it's got to be terrible, you know.
Did you play the mind trick with him?
Yeah, there's no fire, you know, and you know, and she'd get him to say, "I pity the fool," you know,
right,
and
right.
it was sad.
Did she play the mind trick with him?
About what?
You know how they do on the 18 with him. You know he's eating the steak. The steak's pretty good, or the steak's pretty bad, and she's like, "No, the steak's good." Well, maybe you're right. The steak is good.
Yeah. No, she didn't do that.
No.
But you know, the thing about Mr. T is, I'm still mad.
He's an idiot.
Well, that, and I'm still mad at him for killing Mickey in Rocky 3. So I'm never going to forgive him for that. So screw him.
He's a murderer
now,
too.
At the same time, like when I say I wanted to fight Luke Bryan, I don't want to fight Mr. T, even though he's an old man. I don't want to fight him because I think he might hurt me. But
actually, I don't know, bro. According to stories for back in the 80s, you know, with Mr. T, when he showed up at WrestleMania, he didn't want no part of the Hot Rod or Roddy Piper.
Well, I understand that, but see, I'm not the Hot Rod. The Hot Rod was a big dude.
No,
and
well,
I will say, Roddy Piper had the best, in my opinion, one of the best, sure enough, knockdown, drag-out fight scenes in any movie was him and this black guy. I don't know what the guy's name was. It escapes me. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's in a lot of movies, but he always plays like a, you know, he's a character actor. But it was this movie called They Live.
Yeah.
And him and that dude went at it out in the alley. And when I tell you that is the best, it's like it lasts forever. And they just beating on each other and throwing each other upside cars and all.
Is that when he showed up and I've come here to chew gum and
yeah, right, yeah.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
That's right. And look, son, they got it on. But I mean, Roddy Piper was a big dude. I'm not a big dude. So, Mr. T, if you're listening, I don't too much like that you killed Mickey. All right, and if you want to discuss that, I'm open, but I don't want to fight you. But Luke Bryan, I'll whip your ass.
It's week number 3. We've been back on here. You sent out an open challenge to Luke Bryan, and
which
he has
not
yet to respond.
Yeah, I hadn't heard nothing from the Luke Bryan camp. I ain't got a tweet. I ain't got a Facebook message. I ain't got an email. As a matter of fact, I ain't getting no email from nobody. I'm kind of aggravated about that.
The emails did go down Monday. I got an email from Dream Host on my personal account saying that the P something, it was some kind of filter thing.
They had to change it.
It's back up.
They had to change the fuel filter.
Pretty much. So you can send emails now. We got a good response off of last week's show as well. This week we're going to talk a little bit about Texas music. And at the end there, I did a little interview with country music legend Moe Bandy.
Moe Bandy.
Do you know anything about Moe Bandy?
Nah, I know he did a lot of stuff with Joe Stampley.
Yeah, you tell I'm too old to die young. You know, Bandy, the rodeo clown.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that one, the rodeo clown.
He's a troubadour. He was born in Mississippi.
I did not know that.
Yes, and he
you know whereabouts in Mississippi?
Meridian.
Okay. And, I know right where that is.
Yes, indeed. And he actually played the Texas music scene before he actually went to Nashville. And we go through all of that good stuff. He talks about his upcoming primetime show with Gene Watson.
Gene Watson.
Farewell party.
I'm going to tell you something. Gene Watson got a hell of a voice.
Yes, he does. Still
does at his age, and that's saying something. You know, he always did have a good voice.
I think September 18th, they're going to be on the RFD TV channel there on cable TV.
Oh, the RFD TV?
They're going to be doing a primetime special.
That's the one with what Martha Stewart shows on.
Yes. I
don't have that channel no more.
I got to open for Marty Stewart. Well, I was in the band that opened for Marty Stewart one time.
I'll tell you something. Marty Stewart's a hell of a musician.
The tall guy with the guitar player.
Yeah, Kenny Vaughn.
That's him.
Ugly. But can play.
Looks like Lurch.
Yeah, but he can play.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. Ain't no slouches in that band. But Marty is tremendous. You know, he started playing with Les Flatt and Earl Scruggs back when he was a child.
Yes.
I mean, he's, like I say, a hell of a guitar player, but really a hell of a mandolin player. And
he's got one
he
of the,
wears some, he got a crazy hairdo.
I was going to say, he's got one of the best Pepe Le Pew hairdos I've ever seen in my life.
He got a crazy hairdo.
Front, in front of you.
And he don't mind wearing some, some crazy clothes, but I'm going to tell you something. I'd go see him.
Well, back in the day, that was the thing. If you go back,
But he's hanging on to it.
Yes.
And that's fine,
For a while, it was just him and little Jimmy Dickens. Now, old little Jimmy Dickens just doesn't kick the bucket.
Well, hell, he was 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Oh, Tater.
Yeah.
Good guy. Texas music scene. We're going to have a guest joining us here soon, Mr. Hog Branch.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get set up for that here shortly. But real quick, I forgot to mention this a while ago. I got the email yesterday.
Uh-oh.
We have been nominated for what is called the Podcast Gratitude Award.
What that is?
That is the Gratitude Award.
Oh,
we
wow.
are impacting lives. And
the hell you say?
The hell I say. I'll show you the email shortly, or in a few minutes here. Somebody nominated us, and I want to appreciate whoever nominated us. I like it because we've been nominated for Shorty Awards. Now I didn't fall through with everything.
God bless you, whoever you are. I don't know who you are, but you know who you are.
Well, basically, you got to leave a rating and review on iTunes. That's how they pick the winner. I guess, and we are in. We're off in the running.
I'll be there,
which is really, really cool. You can find the link to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio in the show notes, or you can just go to radiorandom.com/iTunes and find us on iTunes. By the way, real quick, too, before we get to Hog Branch there, William Lee Golden
got married.
Pretty woman. Very pretty woman. And retweeted us.
Yeah.
And said thank you. And favored it and retweeted again. That's not the only highlight. We got retweeted on Twitter this week by Big and Rich.
What?
I'm telling you. And I save all the, and that's not the first time. It's the first time in a while that it's happened, and I usually save all of the retweets from the famous people because I like to go back and look at them and toot my own horns.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, sure. Why not?
But yes, Big and Rich actually retweeted us.
I like them.
Because Big Kenny of Big and Rich is actually having his own reality show on RFD TV.
Oh, Lord. Y'all, look. Can we stop with the reality television? You know
what? But to his defense, this guy, he's got a mystique about it.
He does have a mystique. You know what it is? It's that hat.
You think it's the hat?
I think it's the hat. It's got like an Indian thing going. But I'm going to tell you something. When I was a young man, they weren't the only reality television that there was the news. Okay, because that was real, right?
Right.
Something blew up, stock market's down, whatever. So there were shows called sitcoms, situational comedies. No, I'll take you back further than that. How about Sanford and Son?
Oh, bruh. Grady.
Good Times.
Will you, JJ?
Right. Those kind of shows, and I say those too because I used to watch them all the time. But, all those kind of shows, what was wrong with that?
Nothing.
I would a whole lot rather watch that than I would the Real Housewives of, Hammond, Louisiana. And them argue all the time.
Why would you? That's the one thing I don't get. Ozzy actually. I think I blame Ozzy for the new craze of
yeah, it was. And the thing about it is I don't know what happened there.
I don't think Ozzy knowed what happened. I'm not talking bad about him.
No,
Sharon, if you happen to be listening, don't sue us.
She ain't listening. She's chasing after him. It's the thing about it is with Ozzy though, he just totters around. But it's something about when they shine them lights on him, he turns into Ozzy.
It's the craziest thing. The only thing I can remember from the show is, Sharon, like you said, Ozzy, he's just walking around, he's dragging his feet, trying to get the TV to come on.
Right, he don't know how to do nothing.
He cusses.
Yeah, constantly.
And that's all you understand. Everything else is just like, gurgle.
Yeah, hurgly, hurgly.
They bring him to the concert. Yeah, you go to the concert and he's like Bubbles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
I'm the Prince of Darkness, and
right,
you got Bubbles.
Yeah, it turns like say he turns. They shine a light on him, and he turns into Ozzy. You can understand everything he says. He don't drag his feet. You know, he's active. He runs around like throwing buckets of water on people,
right?
And everything's cool. I mean, he's up there singing Paranoid and all, and that's great, you know. But like as soon as that stops, he turns back into just this old wandering man.
What I don't understand about, or not what I don't understand, but my favorite episode of the Osbournes is when he goes to the doctor because he's got a hurt foot or a hurt ankle,
something.
Yeah, and basically it's bad. Like Ozzy, it's wonder you're walking.
Right. We ought to cut it off.
Right. Like the best thing for you to do, Ozzy, is go to bed. You know, he gurgled something and hollered. And
shut on.
You go to the, you know, then the next scene, he's getting ready for his concert. And, you know, he goes on stage and he's jumping as hard as he can on his leg, on his bad leg. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. What we're going to do right now is we're going to pay a bill. We're going to let them talk, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Hog Branch, and then stay with us because a little later I'll be talking to Mr. Moe Bandy. So we'll be right back.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for a show created for musicians and music lovers alike. Backstage with #RDM.
All right, we're back here on the Radio Random Network. It's the Mudtooth and Russell Show, and on the line all the way from Texas. Austin, Texas. Good friend of ours and cousin of Mudtooth. His name is Hog Branch. Hog Branch, how are you doing, brother?
Man, we're doing great over here. But I got to get one thing off my chest right away.
Shoot.
So I'm surrounded by Texans over here, right here in Austin, and I just need to say, "Go Tigers!"
There you
right
go.
Off the bat.
There you go.
Yes, indeed.
How y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Sitting here doing some talking, you know, getting some things going. Talking this week is Mudtooth. Last week had you got it there, brother? I got it. Last week, old Mudtooth said he's been in a Texas music type of mood. So this week our topic is Texas music. So on with us is the Hog Branch, and later on we'll be talking to Moe Bandy. But
nice.
Yes, indeed. So I guess first question we're going to ask you is how's the music scene going over there in Texas?
Well, I tell you, there's a ton of live music. There's music of all types here. And, for instance, this week I've seen Saxon and Motorhead.
That's right.
In town. And if you want later, I'll tell you a little bit about Lemmy and what happened last night. Yeah. But I've seen a great blues band, seen some Western swing, and a bunch of original bands here that are sort of crossover bands that are sort of combining roots and soul music. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Gary Clark Jr., who's the local, the hot blues guy right now, he just left on tour. He's going to be out with the Foo Fighters, opening for the Foo Fighters for months. So that's exciting. And the one other thing that's been going on, the band X out of L.A. With John Doe and Exene, and their guitar player Billy Zoom is taking some time off for some medical issues. He's fighting cancer, and a local guitar slinger here named Jesse Dayton, who I've played with for several years, is out on tour with X right now, filling in there. And so there's there are a lot of Texas bands who are sort of getting out and getting a lot of coverage, national coverage right now. So that's a good thing.
Well, look, when you gonna start a polka band?
A polka band?
Yeah, when you gonna start a polka band?
Well, we've got a couple of really good polka bands.
Well,
actually,
I know there's some over there, and I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen people like dance to it, and it makes me tired to watch it. I don't know how they do it. It's a very active, and they seem to be older people, but it's a very active dance. And
it's like doing jazzercise while you're drinking beer.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Yeah, I completely get it. Tell us about.
With October. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Oktoberfest is just around the corner here, and there's a huge German community throughout Central Texas.
Absolutely.
And so all the polka bands are getting hard to book. I've actually been trying to book one for this little barbecue joint that I book on for a little Friday concert, and a lot of them are booked up. There's the Czech Melody Masters, a great band, great polka band. They play a lot of events with the Longhorns football team over here and stuff like that.
They call them a football team. They still call them a football team.
Well,
I mean, God bless them. It's that's what they got over there.
They're enthusiastic.
They are. They got their little hand signals and things that they use, and that's great. I think it's encouraging. I'm sure they do. Some kind of good in the community. I don't know what, but
yeah. Have you ever played polka music yourself?
I have not. I do not. I cannot play a horn, and nor the accordion, and so I have not delved into that. But there used to be. I'm gonna tell on myself. There used to be this TV show that come on called Big Joe's Polka Show, and I would watch it every now and again. And Big Joe, bless his heart, he was like Jabba the Hutt. He couldn't move. He sat up there and wore this sparkly vest, and they would have it in this huge place. I mean, it'd just be like a huge big dance hall, and they'd be like 20 people in there. and they'd have some polka band in there, and they'd play, and so like the people would be dancing, and so there'd be nobody, and then here come a little couple, they'd go toot 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 toot, do their little polka thing, and then there wouldn't be nobody for a minute, and then he'd come somebody else. It was hilarious to watch.
And they must not have had one camera.
Yeah, they only had one camera. It's like my dad would have said that the show cost $30 to make, and most of that was spent on electricity.
I love your description of the dancers came across. It reminds me of sometimes on Hee Haw when those dancing pigs, they would just scroll across the bottom.
Same thing. So look, tell us about you're playing with this band Palomino Shakedown. Tell us about them.
Man, I am loving this band. The band evolved out of another band called Horse Opera, which was started. Yep, it was started by a guy named Jimmy Devaney, a songwriter from Albuquerque, who's been in Austin for a while, and it started off as a sort of a spaghetti western style band. The sort of good, the bad, and ugly theme kind of things like that. And evolved, into more of a country band. And then he paired up with Howdy Darrell, who played bass for many years with Wayne the Train Hancock.
Now, Howdy Darrell, that's old man Darrell's boy.
Yeah, he was raised on a sod farm.
Yeah, that's
outside of Houston.
Mrs. Darrell's son. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And he brought more of a sort of a folk element to the band. So there's sort of a mix of country folk, western swing. And then there were a couple of recent additions. Heather Ray Johnson came into the band playing fiddle, and Will Daniel, we call him Willie D, is a great saxophone player whose father was a band leader in New Orleans, good friends of Al Hurt and all those. And so he brings this sort of jazz and big band influence into it. And he started doing these horn and fiddle arrangements that were really sort of more Memphis style. So we started doing some covers like Otis Redding and things like that. And so the band has sort of evolved into a much broader range of music. And you can check it out. Anybody who wants to check it out at PalominoShakedown.com or look us up on Facebook or whatever. We have a new EP out. And from my end, I feel like what I've been trying to bring to the band is a little bit of the New Orleans. I love the meters, and so I'm trying to bring some of that George Porter Jr. stuff into it. And the drummer in the band, who I should also give a shout out to, is Ryan Wayne Patterson from Tulsa. And so he comes out of the Tulsa scene up there, where the sort of rock blues sort of mix that, Clapton was up there. A lot of people recorded in Tulsa in the 70s, and so it's a really interesting mix of different styles, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Thank you for asking.
No, that's all right. Now, you say he's from Tulsa?
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
we call him the Tulsanator.
Okay, well, you can take this back to him. You know why Texas don't slide off into the ocean?
I have an idea, but I think you should tell it.
Because Oklahoma sucks.
It's so true. It's so true, isn't it?
I don't. That joke was told to me. I got really nothing against Oklahoma. But just, you can just take that with you. I know really the only state I really hate is Alabama.
That's why our rating in Alabama and Tulsa just went down. Just went straight to the shitter.
Yeah, I just, I got nothing really against Oklahoma, but just, it's always fun to josh your bandmates. But yeah, Alabama, I ain't got nothing for them people. except Gulf Shores is a fine town. It's a nice place, Yeah, that's fine. They sent it to me. Now look, the barbecue joint, is that Smoky Denmark's?
Wait, I need you to repeat that question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm blind in one ear.
Okay. The barbecue joint you were talking about, is that Smoky Denmark's?
Yeah. Now, you guys need to drive over just
Dude, I want
some barbecue and music.
I want to, because I see it on Facebook, and like I'll look and I'll see, whoever's, sitting out there playing, and I can almost smell the barbecue, and it really makes me want to go eat some.
I'm going to brag on these guys for a second. The pitmaster there, Bill Dumas, his grandfather was a barbecue expert, so it runs in his family. He still uses his grandfather's knives. The place has been there since 1964.
Oh.
And we started music there about 2 years ago, and it's been great. And we do free concerts every Friday. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you an idea of the kind of people we have. This week, we've got Dan Walton, who plays for Asleep at the Wheel,
right,
and Rick McRae, who toured for decades with George Strait. So these guys know a little bit what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had Floyd Domino, who's touring with Merle Haggard right now, and Red Volkart, who played guitar for Merle for a long time. So we have these really just super high-quality musicians come in and play, sit out under the country, play guitar, play piano, play fiddle, and we all eat barbecue, family style. It's a really nice hang. You guys would love it.
Yes, indeed. Now, real quick, Hog Branch, how common is it to see somebody or to on the scene that has been out on tour with such people such as the Merle Haggard or the George Straits?
These people have no sense of pride. They'll just show up anywhere. You could just you could be at the Jiffy Lube, and some guitar player who's been out on tour with with somebody, who was it now, I know this is a little more Nashville, but a drummer who was out on tour with Keith Urban for a long time. We were sitting in Jiffy Lube the other day just talking, and I was bragging about my little band. I was like, "Oh, who are you playing with?" And he said, "Well, I was out for about 6 months with Keith Urban."
That's when, you know what you do? You know what you do at that point? You say, "Well, look, tell him I said hey." That's how you answer that. That's what I always say that. Like if it's, well, yeah, I'm going to see, somebody, just like I told you the other night, you was going to see Motorhead and said, "Tell Lemmy I said hey."
I'm using that. I'm using that from now on.
Speaking of the Motorhead thing, now that's made headlines all over the place today. It was trending on social media.
Yeah, it was in Austin last night. He had stopped the show somewhere in Colorado and canceled the show in Denver. Said because he was sick, and then he was supposedly doing better. And a bunch of my friends and I went out to see the show last night, and Saxon opened, and it was sort of interesting because about when they should have been ending, someone brought a note to them from the side of the stage, and he said, "Oh, we have a request from Motorhead," and he said, "We're going to do a few songs from this album." And I just sort of went along with that. My friend later said, that note was probably telling Lemmy was not feeling well to play a few more songs.
Yeah, stretch it out.
Yeah. And I wasn't
conversation in the back. Tell that band opening up to play some more songs. But they covered right. They covered right.
Yeah, I like that was a good British accent you had there.
Oh, Lemmy.
But he came out and they played like 2.5 songs. The third song, just a few minutes into it, he was like, he just said, "I can't do it." And the crowd was great. I thought, I was a little worried the crowd was going to be rude, but they chanted his name for a while, and he came back out and apologized. Everybody was pretty cool. And, so
he didn't do,
anyway,
he didn't do Ace of Spades, right?
No, I would love to, I wish that'd been one of the first 2 songs.
Yeah, because that's it, right? That's, to me, that's Motorhead. That's Ace of Spades.
Yeah. Yep.
And I would have been sad. It's understandable. The man's sick, whatever. What you gonna do? And hell, he's got to be getting some age on him. He's got to be what?
I think he's 70. I think.
Would say at least.
He apologized.
Yeah.
But did he offer a refund?
No, he's not gonna offer you a refund.
No. There was no refund. I think that might have been what the note said to the other band. Refund. So that I don't have to issue a refund. You guys play a few more songs. Right. I'm gonna remember that one too.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially played enough songs to where no refunds will be offered under law.
Now, can I tell you about another band? And I am not. This is a band I would love for you guys to check out. There's a blues player here named John Gaar, Gaar.
Okay.
And it's an odd spelling, Gaar. Mm-hmm. Well, he's from up around Alexandria, and an amazing guitar player. He was Chubby Carrier's band leader for like 11 or 12 years. Yeah, so he knows that Zydeco and Cajun music and the Cajun rock and all that backwards and forwards. Well, he's been in Austin here for about a dozen years now, and his band, the John Gaar Band, plays every Sunday here at the Saxon Pub. And my wife and I found it by accident one Sunday. We were going to see somebody else, and we have probably a dozen times in the last year I've been to see this band. And, as you guys are musicians, unless you're playing out yourself, it's going to take something pretty special to get you to go out and see it more than once,
Absolutely.
Yep. So this guy, he has a great rhythm section, and he's an amazing guitar player, and he has it's 4-part harmonies and just blasting gorgeous harmonies, great guitar playing. Check him out online. He's going to have a new album coming out in a few months, but his current album that is out right now is just killer. And, hit him up on Facebook or whatever, your listeners. I think they'll just love this guy. And, really, really great.
Now,
great performer.
You mentioned your bride. How is Mrs. Branch?
Oh, Mrs. Branch is doing fine. She's very excited about making gumbo every Saturday for the LSU ball games.
Oh, yeah?
And hosting all of my football watching friends who are musicians and can't afford cable.
Right.
So, I can't really express her excitement about the next 14 weeks of weekends.
And look, if you can get over here, one Saturday, we got, the real deal happens right down the road. We can get you in. Western Kentucky. I've taken the weekend off. Are you? Okay.
Yep. I told all my bands, the weekend of the Western Kentucky game, because we're going to have a little family reunion out at my papa's old place on Hog Branch.
Sure.
And and make that Western Kentucky game. So
holler at me. I'll be.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing that.
Yes, indeed.
So,
before you go, Hog Branch, can you tell us how to get in touch with your band again? Give us the link and everything, how they can go find out about your band. And
as long as I don't have to spell it.
You don't have to spell it.
It's Palomino, like the horse. Palomino Shakedown. PalominosShakedown.com or Palomino Shakedown on Facebook or any of the social media. I appreciate the plug on that.
No problem at all. Well, cuz it's always good to talk with you.
You too much. You stay safe on the road out there, man. It's crazy times, man. We got to all watch each other's back.
I will. Don't worry about that. And you behave yourself over there, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks.
Yes, indeed.
In Death Valley.
Yes, indeed. All right, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, Hog Branch, what do you think about that, Mudtooth?
Oh, he's always a hoot and holler to talk to. Man's got his finger on the pulse of all that is the Austin, Texas music scene. He's a cool cat.
Yes, he is.
He really is. He's a cool cat. He's a hell of a musician. And I'm gonna tell you something. And you don't really know it, but he's somebody who completely. I mean, this man, he grew up here. He lived in New York City for quite some time.
Right, he's an actor.
Right, and went to Austin, and I mean embraced that place. I think he's become part of it. It's become part of him.
He's got a very unique style. If you find him on Facebook, he is retro to the bone.
He is, and I love it. I love it. He's got a lovely wife, and they're just, good folks. And I do. And he keeps asking me to come over there, and I do want to go over there.
He offered one time via email for both of us to come and actually play a little music with it.
Yeah, I want to do that. I just want to go over there and eat barbecue.
And that'd be the only reason.
I just want to go like meet the because I watch them barbecue shows all the time where they have competitions and stuff, and I like all that.
Right.
And I would go over there and just say hey to the cook dude, the Mr. Dumas. I would do that.
Yes,
I would play music for free for a rib or two.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe a cold adult beverage.
Yeah, me too. I like ribs and beer.
Right, I like all that.
Speaking of which, last week it went so well, and we didn't get to do it this week, but last week it went so well with the Shock Talk thing. I mean, I think we got some, some attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we'll do. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, maybe try another kind,
a different beer from
right, and we can give you a review. See, this is like you get to hear about music, you get to hear about wrestling. Every now and again, we get to talk to somebody, and you get to hear about beer.
Well, you can't get this entertainment nowhere else.
It's like Walmart, man.
It's almost, yes.
But better. Because there's nobody in here trying to fight you.
Yeah, and we don't lie about paying minimum wage, and we give you more than a 15-minute smoke break.
That's right. That's right.
Just saying. Real quick, y'all, this weekend, if you ain't doing nothing Friday night, me and Mudtooth will be at Laguna Beach.
That's right.
Denham Springs,
if you're
Louisiana.
in and around the Denham Springs, Louisiana area, please come by and see us. It's located right there on Highway 190, otherwise known as Florida Boulevard.
Picking and grinning.
Right.
And next week, I think we might go, let's see, we talked a little bit about Texas music this week. I think next week we'll go to Georgia.
That'd be fun.
That we'll have a good friend. They're good friends of mine. I'd talked to them via Twitter a few times, and that and the other little girl, her name's Holly. She could sing. She has a band called Dixie Steel.
Oh.
And we'll get her to call next week.
That'd be fun.
And then we'll wrap it up.
She ain't never talked to me.
No, but she loves your name. And so that ought to be interesting. And we'll wrap it up with an interview. I got T. Graham Brown.
Oh, good old T. Graham Brown.
He's going to try to call me if he can get some minutes on his phone.
Yeah, get some minutes on his phone.
Next week.
Send him $1 or $2.
Yes, indeed. Buy his new album.
Yeah.
See what old T's up to. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Be sure and rate and review. Help us win that gratitude award.
Yeah, we need to win that. Lord of mercy, we got to beat that competition.
Like, share, subscribe. Email us if you like it. Email us if you don't like it. We love negative feedback as well.
Yeah, and somebody send me an email.
Please send him an email.
What was my email address?
It's Mudtooth at RadioRandomNetwork.com. You can find all of that in this week's show notes at RadioRandom.com/Hog Branch. That's easy, ain't it?
Sounds good.
So y'all be sure and check it out. Thank you for listening on iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, TuneIn. God, where else are? Everywhere.
And other fine retailers.
That's right. We're out of here. Thank you. Stay tuned. It's me and Moe Bandy up next. Don't go nowhere. All right, my guest today on the Radio Random Network, he is a legend. He's a troubadour. And he's one of my personal favorites. I'm talking to none other than the original honky-tonker, Mr. Moe Bandy. Mo, how are you doing today, friend?
I'm doing great, Russell. It's good talking with you.
It's great talking to you, too, my friend. And we'll go ahead and we'll dive off into it, Mo. Can you give us a little insight on how your career started in country music?
Well, I played music since I was a little kid. My dad played guitar, my mother played piano. And we played around the house there for years, and then later on, I put a little band together and played all over South Texas. And I met a guy named Ray Baker who came to San Antonio, Texas, where I'm from. And I asked him if he'd do a session on me, and he was a producer. He went to Nashville, and we did several, and I paid for them, almost starved to death. And finally, after a while, we found a song called "I Just Started Hating Cheating Songs Today," and I cut that song, and it took off on the radio, and we got a record deal, and just got in a string of them right there. We cut a bunch of songs right in a row that were top tens, and then we had number one with Bandy the Rodeo Clown, but. We just went from there, and I've cut many records since then.
Yes, indeed. Now, you were talking about you started out, you played all over South Texas as your, before you became a recording artist. Now, what was the scene like back then in South Texas?
Well, we played a lot of honky-tonks and bars. We played a lot of dance halls, the big dance halls in Texas that were famous back then, the huge places. And we played some joints that were rough, and some were just great big ballrooms. And we had some good times, and I was going to school back then. That's what I called it, schooling, and I got it, you know.
Yes, indeed. That don't happen a lot these days, I don't think, does it, as far as musicians coming up and having to play the rough honky-tonks and everything?
Well, they don't have the places to play anymore as much. A lot of the honky tonks have they play records. I mean CDs, sorry, and they play CDs, and they don't really have the live music like we used to have. But it was we stayed busy doing just that.
Yes, indeed. And you talked about, I mean, you grew up in a household with your mom playing and the piano and your dad playing. Now, when you decided to take off to Nashville, what was the support like from your parents at that time?
Well, they were behind me all the way. They were skeptical, of course,
Right.
because the odds against that are 1,000,000 to 1. But they supported me, and you know, we just didn't have a dream that I would do as much as I've done. That I was hoping to get a couple of records playing around Texas and support my little band there. And thank goodness it just went bigger than that.
Yes, indeed. Now, one of your biggest songs, "I'm Too Old Till I'm Too Old to Die Young." Can you give us a little insight on the day you decided to go into the studio with that song?
Well, I know a guy in Michael Johnson, who is a singer up in Minnesota and had some big pop hit records. And I ran into him one day, and he said, "I found a song that I think would fit you." And I said, "You know, I found a song I think would fit you." So we swapped songs. And the song he pitched me was "Till I'm Too Old to Die Young." And it's written by Kevin Welch. And, oh, my God, I heard that song, though. And everybody was kind of not cutting it because it would dealt with death, they said. I said, I think it deals with life.
Yes.
In which it does. And so I recorded that song, and it was just a big song, and it moved a lot of people, including me, a lot.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, these days you've got a lot going on. You got a matter of fact, one of your other honky-tonk friends that you like to hang out with, Mr. Gene Watson, you got the Moe Bandy and Gene Watson show, and y'all going to be on the RFD TV station there. Well, I think it's September 18th for a TV special. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Well, we're very excited about that. Gene and I have been friends for many years. And we filmed this show. We filmed a whole bunch of stuff, and they edited it down. Edited it. Is that a word? I think so.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now.
It is now.
And, right. And we are very excited. It come off really well, we thought. And we did some, of course, our music. We did our music, and we did some interviewing some cowboys, rodeo cowboys, and also some people in the car racing industry. So it's going to be interesting, I think, and we're very excited. Gene and I, we think we'll have a series there.
Yes, indeed. Well, that'd be awesome. I know we're, me personally, and I know a lot of the listeners out there, they watch the RFD TV, and we've seen you many times on the country reunions and the Larry Black's country diner there. And
yeah. Well, that'll be September 18th at 7 p.m.
Yes,
that'll be
sir.
a 1-hour special. And we're just curious to see, of course, if it works with the people, and we sure hope it does. So if everybody will call their friends and tell them to tune in, well, we appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Now, with that said, and sometimes, I mean, I don't want to step off into anything or get anybody in any trouble or anything, so I understand if you want to keep your thoughts to yourself, but music, it changes a lot these days, and as far as the state of country music these days, can you give your thoughts on it?
Well, our country music nowadays is totally different than what we did. I mean, it's changed before, but I don't think it's ever changed this radical. But these kids are appealing to the younger crowd, and they're selling 8 billion records every time they cut something, CDs, I should say, and making all kinds of money. And I wish them luck with that. The only thing I just hope that we can preserve the traditional country music one way or the other. Throw out a country song out there once in a while, and hopefully we'll keep that alive. I hope so.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, I don't know, what your thoughts on it are, but I know as far as what I've seen and what a lot of that I've heard is, there is a lot of traditionalists out there, and they're they're starting to fight this movement on social media and everything, which is pretty cool to see. You like to stay traditional, the traditional country. I mean, it's a lot of stuff you can relate to, such as songs like "Till I'm Too Old to Die Young" and Bandy the Rodeo Clown and all that. But with all that said, you also have a cruise coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. It's a Moe Bandy cruise, and it's January the 8th, and it's out of Galveston, Texas. And we take a cruise every year. It's Carnival, and we have the best time. We take our friends and fans, and we go out and we do shows, and do little jam sessions and all kind of stuff. And we just have a ball. We've been doing this for quite a few years. And in January, when that weather gets cold, well, you'll have a good warm place to go. We go down to the Caribbean.
There you go.
And so be a good place for January.
Yes, indeed. Now, you're on tour. As a matter of fact, for anybody listening, and I think you'll be in Maggie Valley, North Carolina this Saturday night coming at the Eagles Next Entertainment Complex at 8 p.m., So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. So.
Yes, indeed. Well, for more information on Moe Bandy, you can go to his website, moebandy.com. You can find out more about Moe, and you can buy some merchandise and contact him and all that good stuff. And with all that said, I've heard a rumor, and it's just a rumor. Maybe you can add some truth to it. But is there a new album in the works?
There is a new album. I just finished it. We're putting it all together right now. I'm very excited. I had the Oak Ridge Boys sing with me on it, and I had Ricky Skaggs on it, and also Riders in the Sky. We did a couple of songs in there. And so I'm very excited. Probably a couple months before it's out, but we're really excited about it.
Yes, indeed. Well, Mr. Moe, I know you got a busy day ahead of you. And it was an honor to sit here and talk with you. And when that new album comes out, we're sure to have you on again, and we'll talk about that and promote it and all that good stuff. And I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to give us a call here to Radio Random Network, and I truly appreciate it, friend.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And you're welcome back anytime.
All right. I'll sure give you a call.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Moe Bandy, everybody.
For more information about the hosts, guests, or our other weekly programs, visit RadioRandomNetwork.com. Join us next week for another entertaining episode of Russell and Mudtooth. Thanks for listening.